Hi, this is Chris Bayaki with Resolute Philanthropy, and I want to share a quick update with you about the Giving USA report. Now, if you're not familiar, this is an annual report that comes out. It's a really deep analysis of giving trends over the past year. So the report looking at philanthropy in the year 2024 just came out, and a lot of really sharp analysts and great organizations have been reviewing the report and sharing their thoughts. I just attended a really interesting webinar that Kindsight put on with some really great information, and I figured, why not throw my hat in the ring too and share three updates or three takeaways with you about Giving USA. The first, most importantly, is that no report is completely perfect, right? There's always some vagaries in terms of how data is collected or how data is reported. And if you're looking for a perfect encapsulation of the philanthropic landscape, you'll never find it. So, for example, Giving USA doesn't capture acts of generosity that fall outside of the traditional nonprofit sphere. So it doesn't capture gifts that an individual makes to another individual through, say, a GoFundMe site. And also because of some of the vagaries of tax code and how different nonprofit organizations are categorized, there's some things that are a little counterintuitive. If you make a donation to a zoo, for example, that donation would not be reflected in the animals and environment category. Instead, it would be a community organization like a museum. So things like that. So it's not a perfect engine. The second thing to remember is that, and some of the takeaways from this report, is that giving is resilient, that there's been a lot of ups and downs, and there will continue to be ups and downs in the sector, but people are generous, giving is resilient. We will find ways to engage with our donors to make it happen. And on that note, it's also worth remembering that your timing and the donor's timing aren't the same thing. So some changes in tax law might encourage some donors to give later in the year or earlier in the year than they have in the past. What the donor is planning for their generosity, for their philanthropic goals, might not align with your strategic plan or your budget. And that's kind of a hard truth. But we have to keep that in mind as we're talking with our donors about ways they can engage with us. And the most important takeaway remains this: individuals are generous. Individuals account for the vast majority of all charitable gifts. So when a report like this comes out, I take it as a way to re-engage my organization around the concepts of individual giving. If you've been fighting a fight with your board or with your boss about where to focus your time as a fundraiser, and maybe they're saying we want more corporate giving or more foundation giving, this is a great report to make the case for individual giving. This is where we want to be spending our time, in finding individual donors and engaging our individual donors to give more, to give different ways, to feel connected with our cause. Another way to look at it is the report tells us that donors that are in monthly giving or sustained giving programs, they have higher retention rates than other donors. If you don't have a monthly giving program, this is a great time to start one. This report also shows how powerful bequests are. And if you don't have a legacy giving program, if you're not looking at planned giving as part of your individual giving plans, this is the time to do it. So use a report like this, not necessarily to figure out what you're doing wrong, but use it as an excuse or as extra evidence to help your board members or your bosses or your team members come along with you in this journey, because we know what we need to do. We know that building relationships with individual donors, not necessarily around your organization, but around your cause, we know that's effective, especially with younger generation donors. Alignment around a cause is something that really speaks to people. So we know what we need to do, but sometimes we get off track. Sometimes we need to get readjusted or realigned with things. And a report like this can be a great way to get there. So if you have questions about how to use a report like Giving USA, or if you're really curious about how you can get individual giving up and running at your organization, how you can get monthly giving and planned giving up and running at your organization, I would love to talk to you, because that's one of the things I do with clients, is help them build these programs that in turn raise more money, engage more donors, and do more for your cause and mission. So, if you want to learn more, drop me a comment or leave a message below, and keep up the great work. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.